Hello, everyone. We are live on the Twitches. How's it going? I'm Greg Tito, host of today's festivities. I'm joined by Shelly.
That's right.
Is that you?
That's me.
We're here.
I'm in my Halloween costume.
Who are you supposed to be? I've been trying to think about it all day, and I'm thinking maybe...
A supermodel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good costume.
Cindy Crawford.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
From
400
years ago.
You gotta put like a dot right here, and then you'd be like very good looking.
How are you guys? I'm old supermodel?
I'd said nothing of the sort.
Whatever.
You are throwing me under all of the buses. To start it out right. How are you guys doing in Twitch land? We are here on this hot Monday. It's not really that hot,
but it's hot in here.
It is hot in here.
It's getting hot.
I'm glad I took off all my clothes before I came in here.
I'm glad I averted my eyes.
That's right. I was like, Shelly, look away. Because I had to put on this new shirt. We just got in. We just got in this today.
Was literally opening the box and was so excited that he just stripped right in the middle of our office.
It's true. I can do that because I can suck in a lot and no one will notice.
It's a really nice shirt.
Thanks.
I love it.
Yeah. This is designed by Emmy Tanji.
Of course.
She makes everything look great here on the Dungeons & Dragons team. And it's got like some Beholder things going on for Xanathars and Halloween-y kind of colors.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
So what are those for?
We are going to be giving them out wherever we see folks. So probably the next thing will be at Gamehole Con this weekend.
Oh, I expect to see lots of flashes of creamsicle.
Exactly.
On the interwebs.
Yeah, we'll give some of them away. We're not going to have tons there because shipping them is always a thing. But they'll be there.
Just layer them on.
In force.
Are you going?
I am not. But a lot of the Dungeons & Dragons team is. I'm not going because I'm going to be here for Extra Life this weekend, November 3rd and November 4th. All happening here. I've said before it's going to be in this room, but it actually won't be in this room. It'll be in a new room.
Where?
On the second floor. Larger, because everything is moving. We're all moving around in here. So this room is going to get phased out, and then we'll get phased back in a couple months. Yeah.
Seriously?
For reals.
Oh, yeah, because they're remodeling it.
Yeah. How are you guys doing in there?
Wow.
I feel like that's Nathan who's saying, I took the first shirt. That's not you, Pelham, is it? Yeah, that's Nathan. Hi, Nathan. How you doing? I don't know.
What did he say?
He said you give your boss one first. I forgot to.
He always says you manage up.
I know, right? I literally opened it like a second before we came on board.
Nathan, the box is open, so go.
That's right. Now you just gotta find it.
Just go get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our little warren.
It's an adventure. So, guys, we got a lot of fun stuff coming on here. We're going to talk to Graeme Barber from POC Gamer at 2, so we're going to call him just a little bit. And we got Erica Fermina from Girls Got Glory at 3 p.m. And then you're off the hook, and I can talk to Matt Cernan about some lore at 4 p.m.
Cool.
Today.
Cool.
Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, I'll go unpack my desk.
I know. That's I kind of like want to...
Just want to speed through this.
So I can unpack my desk too, because there's something weird about being in boxes that I just don't like.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I got to be...
We've been there.
I'm a nester. I need my stuff.
I need yarn. I need cotton. I need straw. I need to create my nest.
That's right.
Yeah. Make it happen, because I'm an Aarakocra at heart. So this is just us saying hi to you people on the Twitch, folks. I guess we should... Are you ready to start recording on the reels? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Have you been recording this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. See, I can never...
We record
We're doing it live!
We're doing it live. All right, then. Well, let's do our real Dragon Talk intro now-ish. Does that sound like a real plan?
That was my real one.
I know, but now we get to take that and do it again.
All right. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
Welcome to Dragon Talk. I'm Greg Tito, host of this, one of the official Dungeons & Dragons podcasts.
Well.
And who else do we have here?
I'm Shelly Mazanoble. I'm going to use my radio voice.
Oh, I like it very
Your
much.
voice got really...
It did go a little bit melodic.
I am now doing this recording for real.
Shadow Stevens with the block.
Oh my God.
I was totally channeling Shadow Stevens when I was doing that.
There's a lot of people who have no idea what you just said.
Look it up. You Googleize it, and you will find it. It's
Go to the library and get an encyclopedia.
On Hollywood Squares. And the history of the middle block. It was like Whoopi Goldberg. It was that guy. And then it was, what was the neighbor from Three's Company? You know who I'm talking about?
Mr. Roper?
Paul Lynde was the first version of the Hollywood Squares middle block.
Who did he play?
He was like
Jack's friend?
Yeah, I think
so.
Or
not one of the landlords, like the Ropers or...
No, yeah, he was one of Jack's friends, I think.
Mr. Roper.
Well, now I have to look that up now. But we are here, and we're going to talk about some fun Dungeons & Dragons stuff going on. Today's interview is with Graeme Barber from POC Gamer. We're really excited to talk to him about his histories in the military and finding out all about his gaming group.
We never get to talk to people who have the military history.
I know, but we hear from active, military service people as well as veterans, like a huge community of folks who love to play Dungeons & Dragons. So we're going to talk to him about that. And we got some fun announcements going on that we want to get you guys in on. Xanathar's Guide to Everything is going to be in game stores November 10th. You may be listening to this and it may already be out, and you should go grab it from your friendly local game store. It's got tons of new player options. 27 new subclasses for all the classes in the Player's Handbook.
Time to make a new character.
Exactly. Or three.
100.
Get your motor running. There's an alternate cover. There's an alternate cover designed by Hydro 74, only available in game stores. It's got the same interior, but the alternate cover has got a little bit nicer sheen to it. Actually, it's a softer finish. Feels really smooth on the fingertips. Yep. And that is only in game stores, as I said, and then the rest of it is out wide on November 21st. You can get Xanathar's Guide to Everything everywhere after that. But on November 10th, you can get it in Fantasy Grounds. You can get it in D&D Beyond. You can also get it at a later date in Roll20. They've got to do some rehaul. They're basically doing like a whole overhaul of their thing before they do that because they have to get Player's Handbook content on Roll20 first. But it'll be coming eventually at a later date to Roll20. So yeah, I guess that's Xanathar's Guide in a nutshell. If you're interested, go check out the videos from D&D Beyond on their YouTube channel. They've been doing tons of interviews with Mike Merles and Jeremy Crawford about each one of those new subclasses. And there's good ways to get your imagination going and making up new classes, right?
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Did I tell you that I got to tell you this story?
Yeah.
But I really want to call our guest first. So what else is going on in your world for Avalon Hill?
It depends on when people are listening.
Now-ish and or 3 weeks from now.
If it's potentially 3 weeks from now, we have a lot to talk about, but I can't talk about it yet.
Well, you can at least talk about PAX Unplugged.
Well, I'll be at PAX Unplugged. If anyone's going to PAX Unplugged, we can play some Betrayal at Baldur's Gate and see some live games.
That's right.
Some D&D.
Yeah, Dice Camera Action will be there on the Friday of PAX Unplugged. That's the 17th, I believe. And then on the 18th, there will be an Acquisitions Incorporated game. Both of them Dungeon Mastered by Chris Perkins.
Awesome.
Which should be pretty cool. Also on the 18th is the Force Grey live show.
Oh, there? Yeah. We have a lot
in
going on.
Brooklyn, New York. It's at a really cool space near where I used to live. Like 10 blocks away from my old apartment.
If only you were still there. You
I know.
Just went to the game.
And then I could have rented out my apartment to you guys. I'd be like, here, go check it out.
Airbnb it.
Yeah, right, exactly. But it's very cool to have all of the cast and Dungeon Master Matt Mercer there in Brooklyn. Brian Posehn won't be able to be there. He's booked on something else. But all of the ones in this Lost City of Omu season are going to be there. And maybe a special guest will be there as well. I don't know who it is either because we don't. It's undetermined. So that's on the 18th of November. We'll be live streaming it as well. You can check it out, but of course the video on demand after the fact. And it will be the finale of the Force Grey Lost City of Omu kind of season. Yeah.
I feel like it just started.
I know,
there was twice as many episodes.
There's a lot of episodes. We got 2 episodes dropping tonight when we're recording this on the twitch.tv/DND at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So easy to catch up with all those there as well.
Cool.
Yeah, but you got a lot of fun announcements happening at PAX Unplugged, I hear?
Maybe.
No?
1.5.
Yes? 1.5?
1.5.
Nice. So you heard it here first, folks. 1.5. Announcements coming from Shelley Masvinoble.
I can't wait. Actually, okay, I'm not going to say any more.
Got it.
But I can't wait.
There will be...
I'll spill something, Ryan. I'm not going to. How drunk do you think I am right now?
Is there dice involved?
God. Yes.
All right, well, we're just going to have to roll the dice and make it happen. I love it. Extra Life is happening this upcoming weekend from when we're recording this.
Yeah.
When you listen to this, it may be already gone, but that doesn't mean you can't still contribute money to Seattle Children's Hospital, as well as purchase the Tortle package, which is on the Dungeon Masters Guild. They let you play as an anthropomorphic turtle, as well as, do you know that Chris Lindsay has his One Grung Above up there as well in PDF form? I think that's $5. Okay. And all the stuff that Wizards would get to that from those sales go directly to our Extra Life to help kids in school, in hospitals. rolls.
You're raising money
We're raising money.
right now. You personally.
Me? I know, yeah. Go to my page.
We know our friend Lindsay Newsom, donated to your campaign.
Thank you, Lindsay Newsom. Thank you for that. I heard that you rolled a D3 to see who you're going to donate to, and I'm glad that I was the winner.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we're continuing to raise as much as we can, and that goes on
I think we're
forever.
doing really well.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with all the stuff that we're selling on
Yeah.
the Dungeon Masters Guild. When you factor that in, it's a lot of funds going towards helping kids
What
and
a
children.
nice community. We have.
For reals.
You D&D players.
Thank you out there.
you're so nice.
All
Very
of you
generous.
have gone to my Extra Life page / Greg Tito, and I still need to know what my character is going to be. So
You don't know
throw
that
some
yet?
cash. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to donate. I donated. I did donate.
Good.
But I donated to Bart.
I mean, is that really donating?
I mean, it's like a joint account. So.
You're basically just saying, hey, Bart, you just donated
Hey, guess
yourself
what?
your own money to it. You did the work of putting in the credit card
I
and all that
did.
information.
He doesn't even know our account number. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. All right. Well, that is, I think, all we're going to hit tonight. We got lots of stuff going on twitch.tv/DND. As always, go check out all of the fun programming that's going on there. Over 50 hours of programming a week comes from this here channel.
That's
and
crazy.
We love it. And we love everybody who subscribes to that channel. You're all amazing folks. And all of that funds goes to just getting it back to the content creators in here, making this channel even better, which we appreciate and love. And I'm sure they do too. Give you hats off to them. Good job. All right, let's break up for a segment. Let's call either Matt Cernett, Chris Perkins, or Jamie Crawford
reach into a little bag of lore and
lay
see.
some knowledge on us. Make it happen. Bing bongs.
Bing, bong.
Hey, Samba. Artinez, positive scholarly articles about the positive effects of playing D&D.
What?
You should go to Wheelhouse Workshop. Their website is has a lot of those things, as well as the Take This Foundation. Articles by Dr. Bokamatsa, who used to be on this, was a guest on this podcast.
She should come back soon.
We should get him back on. He's doing good work over there. But yeah, go check out those two sources, and I think there will be more coming down the pipe very soon. Also, Ethan Gilsdorf did a TED Talk in Providence, a TEDx talk, all about the positive effects of Dungeons & Dragons. So there's some fun stuff. Not exactly scholarly as what you're saying, or academic, but people who are academics are on that list of folks I just mentioned. So check those out for sure.
Academic stuff too.
Yeah.
But we'll have to look back into that.
For sure. Good question out there, though. All right. Are we ready to call him up? All right, let's do it. Let's call it. Oh, should we do our outro? Midtro. Yes, thank you, sir. That was a really good segment, didn't you think?
So good.
Was that enough time? Yeah. I know I really screwed it up at this point. 1, 2, 17. That was such a good segment. I really enjoyed talking to
Me too.
what we learned from there.
I liked hearing you talk to.
You listen to that segment, but you don't listen to yourself. That makes sense to me.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That makes sense. Because is it the sound of your voice?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's so
And
musical.
the things that it says.
It's the sound of your voice and the things that come out of it. That's crazy. So,
words.
yeah, I think this is all about building you up, Shelley. You do good work.
Thank you. I hear it's a really good podcast.
People tell me, but I've never listened to it. It's not
People
that-
have said they enjoy it.
That's good stuff. Well, let's call up Graham and we'll
Speaking of
pick
good
his
podcasts,
I know, right? That was a good segue.
let's have one.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Good. You're sounding pretty crisp. I like it.
No, it sounds like you're right here with us.
Right on.
Nice. So, Graham, this is Greg, and we also have Shelley.
How you doing, Graham?
Great, Shelley. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Thanks for calling in. Are you calling in from British Columbia, Canada?
Oh, lovely. You're our neighbor to the north.
It's true.
Very nice. So we were wondering about the very unique spelling of your first name.
Yes. That is the Gaelic spelling.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Yep. So people probably messed it up all the time.
Yes. Frequently.
Yes.
You just spell it as a matter of course at this time, right?
Yeah. I think the best spelling I got was someone managed to cram all the possible combinations into a single attempt. Like it was like GRAHEAME.
Oh my!
Something. Yeah.
It's like when you go to the Starbucks or
Yeah,
something like that, right?
Starbucks would have a real hard time with that.
I know. I usually spell out my last name each time because people will immediately get it wrong.
They can't do Tito?
I know, you'd think that'd be an easy one, but it's always messed up. So I just spell it out as a matter of course. Yeah.
I don't know.
Things you do
Yep.
in life.
That's
But
hard.
Graham, we wanted to talk to you about your history of Dungeons and Dragons. You've been playing for a long time, as well. You're in the military as well.
Yes.
We have heard many times of folks who play in active military as well as veterans, and I think this might be the first time we were actually speaking to a service member about it. So we're really excited about that as well.
Oh, yeah. Any questions you guys have, I'm more than happy to answer.
Sweet. So
Like top secret information?
all right. So what is
Any
Canada
questions?
planning? Invading Cascadia, I think, is what's going to happen. So yeah, well, why don't we start at the beginning? When did you start playing Dungeons and Dragons? We always like to get the origin story of what your first session was like and what hooked you and all that.
Actually, my first session, it was in, I think, 1992 or 1993. We were over at a friend's place. His dad had a bunch of first edition books from when he was younger, and we convinced my buddy to let us make characters and try to play a game. And it did not go well. It ended up with like our characters in jail, and yeah, that was that was my first go.
How did that happen?
I made a first level fighter magic user thief and tried to pick somebody's pocket.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Yeah. When you got like a 3% chance of succeeding, yeah, that did not pan out as well as hoped.
How old were you?
Oh geez. Maybe. Oh geez.
Like
13
what?
maybe.
Okay.
12, 13, somewhere in there.
No, that seems about right. Yeah. I feel like that's a 13-year-old kid, and you're like, you give them, oh, you can do anything in this game. Yeah, that's the first thing they would do.
Yeah,
Totally.
And then you try to do anything and realize that it's not as possible as
Exactly.
You can try anything. That's the operative word there.
Yes.
So it didn't end well. Your character went to jail, but there was something about it that still captivated you, or did you stop playing for a while?
Actually, after that, I didn't actually get back into D&D until about maybe 1994, 95.
Mm-hmm.
Some friends had, different friends' dad had some other games that we played from a different company.
Nice.
And then,
you can talk about those. That's okay. No worries.
Okay. Yeah, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I think that's what got Bart into
Really?
role playing.
What? I didn't realize that was a game.
It very much is, and it's based on the Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles, so it's not as nice or kid friendly as as the stuff that was on TV.
Right.
But yeah, that sort of got me into it, and then in high school, and then at my first go at university, I got more into playing second edition, and we played that a lot. And then third edition came out, we played that. Fourth edition we skipped, and now we're on to fifth.
What were you always a player, or did you dungeon master a lot as well?
I'd say it's been about 50-50.
That's cool. Do you like you like doing both? I guess.
I do. I think like just about anyone else, I prefer to play, but I've definitely found enjoyment in DMing games.
Are you still drawn to the thief, magic user, pickpocket types?
No. That was a very brief phase. A lot of my characters now tend to be fighters or rangers or stuff like that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Occasional magic user.
And now, you're doing a homebrew campaign now? Is that what I read?
Yes.
What's that like?
Fun.
One word to describe that.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's a world that's sort of been kicking around for a long time in bits and pieces, and we've just sort of assembled it together into one whole, and it seems to be working out pretty nicely.
Now, are you DMing that one, or are you playing in that?
I played for a bit, and then I started to get more into the creative side of it, and then I started doing more of the DMing, and I've got a hex map creation that's our game world and all that sort of stuff. I used a hexographer to make it. So
Oh, neat. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I played around with some of those digital map making stuff. I'm not familiar with that one, but I want to be better at that. Takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So I've never played in a homebrew campaign. Does the whole party contribute to the campaign, or is it more of the dungeon master's job to create that world?
It really depends on the individual group. I've been in some homebrew campaigns where it's entirely been the DM doing all the heavy lifting and all the world creation and stuff. I've been in others where it's been a very contributive sort of thing, where players come up with ideas and backgrounds and stuff like that, and then the DM's integrated those concepts and plans into his game. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So yeah, do you play with mostly other service members now, or are you is it tell me about your group, I guess is what I'm asking.
No, my group is entirely Civi friends. My friends that I played with when I was doing stuff more actively, like I'm a reservist in Canada, which is a little bit different than it is down there, because we train throughout the entire year, and we have it's kind of like a hybrid between your reserve and your National Guard sort of operation. But for a while I was doing full-time Army stuff, and at that point, through some bizarre fluke, there just happened to be a bunch of other people in the same troop that I was in who played D&D, and we embarked on some fairly epic and crazy adventures.
I bet. Can you tell us what's an indicative event of one of those crazy adventures?
My character, I was DMing. It was a homebrew setting called the Warm Seas, and the characters decided that instead of spending their money on like new armor and magical doodads and all that sort of stuff, that instead they were going to found their own merchant company and go out and like conquer some islands and see where that went. And they ended up, like, their characters ended up marrying into like the local aristocracy, and they went to war against the nation that had originally like gave them the money, the startup capital to get going. And yeah, it went off the rails fast. It was a great campaign. It was fantastic. It was really cool to see them coming up with stuff and their plans and how they did things. So yeah, we just kept going with it.
That's super fun. I love games like that are almost I wouldn't say simulationist, but at least like, okay, here's the world and this is how you would react if you were playing at like, the Lord / governmental scale of things, rather than just plucky adventurers,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. So yeah, what's and I guess I wanted to go down the track of the servicemen. Like, do you have a lot of people who you are in the same company with or whatever that like talk about Dungeons and Dragons a lot? Because like I said, we feel like we hear it a lot, but I don't know how pervasive it really is.
There's a handful. There's a handful of guys in my unit that I know play D&D and other various fantasy games and all that stuff, and are really into it. But it's not really something like you won't walk into the mess and hear some guys talking about their latest campaign over a beer or something like that. It's sort of like you'll be walking by as they're talking, and you look over and like, you guys talking about D&D? They're like, maybe. Why? I'm like, that's cool. Well, what are you guys doing? And then and that sort of opens it up. But yeah, it's
maybe. I like that. I don't know. You're talking about D&D.
That's pretty much it.
Failed your bluff check there.
Well, it seems like a good thing to do in your downtime. That's a good,
it is. It's a great way to exercise your imagination. Just sort of like break out of the monotony of day-to-day Army stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because it is not nearly as exciting as it is in the movies. So
I would bet, right? Yeah.
So do you have plenty of time to play D&D?
Like when we're doing Army stuff, or just in general?
When you're doing your Army stuff.
Just
pretend your boss isn't listening.
It's an after work thing.
Okay.
Like it's you have your regular working day, and then you go home, have dinner, and if it's D&D night, you go over to buddy's place, or they come over and you play D&D. On exercise, you're probably not going to get a lot of D&D played because everybody is like tired, covered in camouflage paint, and just not really feeling the imagination at that point.
Because
Right.
you're kind of doing it in real life at that point.
Yeah.
You could have spent all day like really playing,
Yeah.
but not playing.
Yeah, I could see. When you're on exercise means that you're in the process of running through things. Is that what that means?
Yeah, you're out in the field. Like you're doing all of your regular sort of army stuff. Like in my case, we're an armored reconnaissance unit, and so my day consists of waking up, getting orders, making my own orders, giving orders. Crews mount up in the vehicles. Out we go, do our trace. What's it if we run into anything? Then go through contact and all that sort of stuff. Finish the trace, come back, report in everything that happened, and get my next set of orders.
Wow.
So I have like 5 to 6 hours a day to call my own, maybe if I'm lucky.
Oh,
Right,
so,
and
yeah,
those hours you can't really fill up with imagining in another world per se. It's mostly sleep, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Or like for example, when we were up, I went up to do the up to the fires there this year with the Army here in Canada, and yeah, like you spend all day looking for hot spots and culturally and walking around, doing all that stuff. And at the end of the day, you're like, do I want to play D&D or do I want to sleep?
yeah.
Sleep. That sounds
We
better.
often ask ourselves the same question.
It's true. But you got to see a lot of really exciting terrain and things like that. That's got to inform your game a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Like the things that I've seen on deployment and on leave and all sorts of stuff has definitely expanded my concepts for terrain ideas and things like that. I mean, I went on leave to the island of Bali, which I strongly recommend to anybody
Wow.
That does
who
sound cool.
has a
Yeah.
chance. I mean, there's jungles, there's volcanoes, there's a monkey temple, there's a temple out in like the middle of a bay, amazing stuff underwater.
God. Sounds
yeah.
like a D&D world.
The place is amazing. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. And then like different parts of Afghanistan all look different. So you sort of go from the idea of a sandy desert to like, okay, there's rocky deserts. There's big piles of stone. There's this, there's that. How things look. And yeah, when we were in Cyprus doing our decompression leave before we came home, I was a huge archaeology nerd when I was there the first time. Just monstrously huge. I went on all the archaeology things that were available.
That's cool.
And like you're seeing like Roman mosaics and plumbing, and they had a church there that was like 900 years old or something and still active.
Whoa.
That was in like
Wow.
the middle of a bunch of like Roman ruins.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like it just sort of really expanded. Like I'm like, okay, like so this is what this sort of thing would look like, or this is something that I could put the players into or make my character be from or something like that.
Right. So many of Dungeons and Dragons kind of tropes deals with ruins and tracking through things and being
Yeah.
on those like, architectural type places.
Yeah.
So even just the language you use to describe them, or you might have a mental picture in your head from something that you've seen.
Yeah, that's
Way
so
easier to
cool.
draw upon than just making stuff up on the fly.
Yeah, it has been a huge help.
Have you ever thought about writing anything for the DM's Guild? Because I feel like there's a really good book in here.
I
I
have thought about it, and I'm still tossing the idea around, because there are a bunch of things that I've had sort of bumping around in my head that I think would be good to add to the DM's Guild, but I haven't gotten around to putting pen to paper yet.
Well, in your 5 to 6 hours a day, I guess.
Copious spare time.
I guess
Exactly.
we'll have to wait a little longer, but
Yeah.
hopefully, I do feel like
Yeah.
that's really interesting to the way that you've seen things that other people, regular folk like us, don't get to see and experience. But
Right.
what a cool way to incorporate that into your D&D campaign.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if you see cool things and
Yeah.
you have those sorts of opportunities to take in that sort of, that extra bit of culture, to see how things differ and how things look, why not make good use of it?
Yeah.
Right. Even how you were describing Bali, it really reminded me of Chult, of where the Tomb of Annihilation is right now, because of all the volcanoes and the jungles and the things happening in the water.
Oh yeah, I mean the place is wild. I mean, there's a wreck you can go diving on there that didn't actually sink naturally, like it beached itself in World War II. The U.S. Navy stripped it what it wanted out of it. The locals stripped what they wanted out of it, and then in like 1960, the volcano went off and it rolled it into the bay.
Oh my God!
Whoa.
Yeah, so just like you run into cool story like ideas like that. I mean, that's
a great hook right there.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, dive for whatever treasure. Maybe there's like a lost piece of lore or something like that wasn't stripped out yet. See, I'm already spitballing.
Right? You got to write this before Greg Tito does.
You got to watch out for the Sahuagin who might be in that ruin.
Yeah. That is really cool.
So we found out about you because you were quoted in the Kotaku's recent article about Tomb of Annihilation. So thank you for putting in your opinions there about Chult and the cultures there, and definitely has sparked a lot of conversation here in the office. And part of us talking to you was to continue that conversation. So yeah, is there any stuff there we wanted to cover here?
What do you want to cover? What do you want to get into within the time frame that we have allotted? Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the peoples and the cultures there and ways that the Forgotten Realms depicts people of color and how we can get a lot better at doing stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, geez, that is a huge topic there.
It is. Now, so sorry if I threw it out in a.
No problem. I think one of the things just would be to let those groups be fantastic, like have that fantasy element. Because one of the things that I've noticed is that, and this was in preparing for the third part of the review, writing on the Tomb of Annihilation, was that like within the Forgotten Realms, if you're from like the Sword Coast or Cormier, all those sort of stuff, you have that fantasy background. I mean, sure, there's a bit of a cultural template over it, but they're allowed to have a fantasy history and a fantasy development, all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with other groups, it's sort of a repeat of real world history. I mean, take Mazda, for example. I mean, the box set that came out in pretty much word for word recreated the Spanish conquest of the Americas.
Yeah.
And there was sort of like no thought as to what would an Aztec-based culture be like if it was in a world where magic existed and where the gods were a real thing.
Yeah. That stuff is always fascinating to me, because that's where fantasy can excel, is that like you just take things that are historical but like tweak them and make it be like a what if kind of situation. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's the thing that I've noticed doesn't happen as much when you start getting into minority groups in the game, is that they sort of tend to get history. They tend to be more historical recreations than fantasy creations.
Yeah.
Same thing when the Horde invaded into Western Faerun there.
Mm-hmm.
They were almost carbon copies of Mongols, but they didn't have, and then they fought against a fantasy army with like magic and all those other elements. And where was their magic? Where was their fantastic element?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's even harder when, I think we've talked about, what would it be like if we went to like a Wild West area or like, other type of things. And you want to make sure that it all is tweaked in a way that makes sense for telling stories, that doesn't, that feels representative of as many different cultures as possible.
Mm-hmm. And so, I think that's one element of it. And there are other components as well. I mean, for example, in the Kotaku article, somebody brought up that you had a sort of a swath of different clothing types, like ways of showing the people that lived in Chult.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, this is going from west to east to South Africa and, North Africa. Like you're encompassing a giant area, and you're saying that they all have this common dress, and, why not sort of focus more in on one area to give it a better sense of continuity, or even break it up. I mean, there's 3 human tribes there, and you have one group that was sort of described as being kind of East African, one group that was sort of West African, and one group that wasn't really described at all because they were supposed to have been wiped out in some sort of crazy war that happened for reasons unknown.
Right. We're still piecing together a lot of the history as we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and it's in piecing together that history is where I see a lot of opportunities to change things and to develop stuff, because where there's gaps in history, there's opportunity to create and to enhance, as opposed to simply reinforcing things that are already there. Right.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned the Dungeon Masters Guild, but that would be a great. I'd love to see more explorations of different parts of those things up in there. In the short term, as we're dealing with production schedules being as they are, it's always hard to turn on a dime or something like that. But there's
absolutely, yeah. Time and space are no one's friends.
Exactly. Well, that's cool. Yeah, and again, it's really cool that we're talking more and more about this. I mean, that's kind of what our goal is going forward. And even when you and I spoke last week, was that last week or was that even the week before? Yeah. But you mentioned how there was lots of other, there's a wealth of, novels and stuff written about the Sword Coast and up and down all those cities are really well explored. But then the area of Chult is there's a few novels and that's about it. And that part of it just is the breadth of stuff that's created for it. It isn't able to, that One Piece things will be like very indicative, where there was more written about it in general. It'd feel like more representation.
Well, I mean, it's sort of a weight of lore thing that I think, and I think just about anybody can fall victim to it. And that's if you're used to working and writing in an environment where you don't have to worry about the background because it's so well established and so already well entrenched within the minds and discussions and narratives of the people playing the game, that when you hit an area that doesn't have that same background, if you're not conscious of that, then you sort of blaze ahead with whatever comes to mind first, without sort of stopping and saying, hey, wait a minute, like, do we have this for this? Like, do we have that background? Do we have that level of support?
Right. Because then anything you do put out there, it ends up being like, okay, now this is the new baseline. That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. But if there was just this more wealth of stuff. So, yeah, I totally see that. And we're, encouraging. We have our Dungeon Master Guild Adept program to encourage more and more stuff happening within the storylines that we're putting out right now. And I think Chult is there's a lot of area for development, as you mentioned.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of cool stuff going on there.
Do you want to talk about your blog too? Because I found that to be a really good resource as well.
Sure. What would you like to know?
Well, when did you start? I mean, the more we talk to you and like about how busy you are in your day life, and then I see like you actually have these really thoughtful, long blog posts, and I mean, obviously you do a lot of research on gaming, the gaming industry in general. So I don't know how you really have time to do all these things. But when did you start your blog, and really, like, why did you start it?
I think it was late 2013 or late or very early 2014 that I started it. And the reason I did it was because I was just I was really sort of like getting back into gaming a lot, and I wanted to see. Like fourth edition had been a lot of heartbreak for me, because it wasn't the D&D that I was used to, and it wasn't the D&D that I was sort of, looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And
we've heard that a lot. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And so when I started the blog, it was it was because I'd been part of D&D Next. I was part of the playtesting, and I was loving what was happening because to me it was a synthesis of my favorite parts of second edition and my favorite parts of third edition, sort of coming together to make this really amazing game where you could really get into it and create really unique and interesting characters. And then I heard that Forgotten Realms was going to be the new default setting, and I thought that was great because Greyhawk drove me crazy. And like I loved like the cosmology of the place was really good.
Yeah.
But just like the world itself, it made my geography brain hurt.
And your anthropology brain hurt probably as well.
Yes. And so when they said Forgotten Realms was going to be it, I got really excited. And so I borrowed a friend's copies of the Forgotten Realms campaign guide and player's book, or campaign setting and player's guide. And I was like, okay, I'm going to see what we're going to have to work with, because I knew things had changed since third edition. I just didn't know what had happened because I hadn't been paying attention to fourth. And so I opened it up and I was like, wow, like this place is broken.
Broken how?
Well, I describe it as it was written by somebody who hated Forgotten Realms.
Oh no.
Because it was like Dungeons and Dragons, at least in my opinion, hasn't had a great record with apocalypses as methods of restarting campaign settings.
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
Well, it was either that or you wake up and you realize it was a dream.
Yeah. And
you have a twin sister.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty compelling, actually.
Right? Yeah, last time we hire soap opera writers.
Literally better than what happened. And yeah, what I found was that the spell plague had happened, and somebody had dug back when they referred to Toril as Abir Toril, and came up with a changed cosmology, which actually wasn't that bad. Like the addition of primordials and all that stuff actually, improved the things a little bit. But then they sort of smashed the planet and shoehorned in all the player races that were in the core books.
Right. Dragonborn being the biggest one. They were like, all right, there's just now a nation of Dragonborn.
Yeah, and then they're like, gold elves are now Eladrin, regular elves are now moon elves, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it just, and then you looked around sort of, and all the named places where the people, were minorities seem to have gotten the boots harder than everybody else. I mean, you had the whole Chultan Peninsula got blown into sandbars. Chult itself was reduced to like a pulp fantasy, Lost World with the only, bastions of civilization being the little, like the two colonies.
Yeah.
Termish, everybody's favorite other black civilization in Forgotten Realms, was a failed state. Like there was literally no reason to make a character who was from there, and it wasn't even offered as an option. Mazda was transported to another world.
Yeah. And then now it's apparently back. Also, we've been,
yeah.
I'm like you in that I knew more about Greyhawk before the Forgotten Realms, became more to the front and center for 5th edition. And I don't know very much about it, so that's what part of the fun of talking to Matt Cernett and Chris Perkins about the lore of the Forgotten Realms is that I'm learning a lot of it as well. But yeah, right, yeah, and I think Matt's one of his things is like a Mastika. It's there. It could be there. It could be a part of it. We haven't really explored it or said yet, but in theory, it's there.
And that's why as when we were talking the other week, I said when you asked what would I like to see, my answer was a map.
Yeah,
I want to see a full map of Toril, like from Faerun, Karatur, Zakara. And then like the undescribed continents.
Right. What else is there? Right.
Aussie, Katashaka, and Anarchomi, Anakrame. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
You need to have your own lore you should know segment.
I know, right? I want to talk to Graham more and be like, tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's these other areas that are, they're undescribed, and they're supposed to be, like Anarchrome is supposed to be, I think, an analog for North America. Katashaka is supposed to be an analog for Africa, and I believe Ase is supposed to be Australia or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I think I because I love maps and I'd love to have a newly updated version of the Forgotten Realms I can just put in my new office.
Your new cubicle.
My new cubicle. Yes, exactly.
Half
space. But like I think a lot of it has to do with, a lot of it's not set in stone. I think there's some stuff that's like, hey, we may explore it at some point later on down the line. Even just maps.
Another bad dream.
I might have
another
bad dream about it.
Yeah, but I mean, exploring something down the line is fantastic, but a map doesn't define what you can or can't explore.
Correct.
Down the line, it just says this is the world. Go nuts.
Yeah. And I know there's at least one cartographer, if Devin Rue is still in the Twitch chat. But I'd love to see a new cartographer take the reins and see what they can do as a new spin on what that map would look like.
That would be so cool,
right?
We need a globe.
I need like ones to be like there would be dragons here kind of version of the map too, where it's like
stuff like that. That's awesome. Like,
yeah,
when you start adding stuff like that in, like these, this is the world according to the view of. Fill in the blank.
Oh yeah, that'd be the great way to do it. Like, hey, this is Neverwinter's view of the world, based on, whatever they've been able to, bring to, like what explorers have brought back.
Oh, cool, a whole series.
Yeah,
yeah, because I mean, like I know, like I've behind me right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 editions worth of Forgotten Realms maps.
Nice.
Because I have shamelessly abused my plotter privileges at work.
No way.
I love that.
See these.
Yeah, and like they're fantastic because I'm like, okay, this is the world, sweet, and you can also see the changes that have happened from edition to edition.
Oh, that is cool. You should take a picture and send it to us. I'd love to see that. How it's displayed.
You got to be careful if you leave something behind on a printer where you work.
It's true.
What is this?
Right. We're going to another world.
This doesn't look like part of the district. Okay. Dragons. Right on.
All right. I thought it was just on HBO, but no.
Nope.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Mm-hmm.
But those are some really good ideas. And like I said, I think having a new way to have the map of that world would be fantastic. I'd love to put it on my kid's ceiling before anything else gets up there.
Like those glow-in-the-dark stars.
Like those glow-in-the-dark stars. Who wants those up there, right?
We didn't actually mention the name of your blog. I think we just called it your blog.
Oh, yeah. POC Gamer is my blog, and it is updated irregularly. I try to get something out every week, but that does not always happen. So,
but when you do update it, those are very good, lengthy blog posts.
It's true.
Thank you.
You make up for lost time.
And I think Shelley has some, I
have blog envy.
Yeah, because you don't post as much either on your Facebook blogging page.
No.
Right? Maybe. Is The Bachelor in season?
I was going to say we're in between Bachelor seasons. I have nothing to talk about. What do you want me to say, Tito?
Well, maybe you can guest on, and do some other different conversations on your Facebook page about maps and stuff.
Yes, maybe I will.
Yeah, make it happen. I mean, I feel like now I want to know more about your homebrew setting and talk about that. What you guys are playing in 5th edition now? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, we've got we've got a set of the books, and we've got the Sword Coast Adventures Guide, Polo's Guide to Monsters, which we have pillaged ruthlessly for player races and stuff like that. And
nice.
Yeah, I've got what I can do is I'll email you the ping file of the world that I made on HexMapper, and you can see what it looks like. And
what kind of stuff is going on in the homebrew world? What kind of stories are being told?
Nothing crazy exciting yet. Everybody's there's a handful of people that are new to 5th edition, so we're going through those opening adventures that you sort of have to do sometimes, where get everybody used to the mechanics, how things work, things that have changed, and in the meantime, a lot of goblins are dying. So
this makes sense. Or are there a lot of gamers in your group now who have played in the past and are coming back? Is that what I'm getting?
Yes. There's like a lot of us. A lot of them are parents now, and I'm like about to become one myself, and that definitely.
Oh, no way! Congratulations.
Thank you. That definitely is something that eats into your available time, because you got a kid, you got to do that stuff now.
Tell us about it.
So yeah, so
no
now and yeah, so now like they've got a bit more time and and they want to get back into things, and a lot of the games that we used to enjoy aren't in print anymore or aren't supported anymore. So yeah, I was like, hey guys, like let's do 5th edition. Let's see where this goes. And yeah,
sweet.
Off we've gone.
What's the party? Are they optimal? Have they?
I don't think we've ever had an optimal party. Where one of the big things, like within my gaming experience, is that I never actually had a DM or a group that sort of got fixated on like the standard player character party. There was always more effort put into and more interest put into making characters that you wanted to play, or the sorts of things that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so like at points that meant that we had no cleric, or we had no wizard, or there was capability gaps, but the thing was always to overcome that with good role playing and planning, and making the alchemist shop very, very happy because you're constantly buying potions.
That's why you got to go into business as an alchemist. Yep. That's the way to do that.
And so we never really got into that whole like we need a fighter, a mage, thief, and a cleric, and then anybody else is surplus. Like we had a party once where we had like 3 wizards, 2 fighters, and a paladin.
Oh man, that sounds like an awesome party. I would love that.
Yeah, it was really interesting, especially when you're using like strength checks to brute force your way through like things the thief should be doing, like picking locks or climbing things.
I'm just gonna bang down this entire wall.
That was pretty much it. We're like, well, no one knows how to pick locks. Better smash it.
all you wizards better take knock spells.
Exactly. And even with the wizards we had, I mean, they weren't playing typical wizards. When they got to the level where everyone's like, yeah, right on, I want fireball, they were like, I want lightning, or like they chose other spells, and so it changed how the game worked for us, and it was really fun. Like, it was a good way to sort of like see the other things you can do when you break out of that standard party mold.
Yeah, and I always feel wizards and magic users in general, when they're used creatively, really is like what D&D is all about. Like when you're trying to be like, I'm going to use this spell that it's on the surface it's a air wind damage spell or something like that, but like try to use that to get across the chasm or something like that. Like things that are like, you don't use a spell not the way it was like always used or intended.
Outside of the box spell casting.
That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And my friend did that recently. One of my friends who's joining us in this game, he's played a lot more 5th edition than the rest of us, and he played a druid in the House of Strahd.
Nice.
They did the House of Strahd adventure, and vampires are weak against moving water. Shape water is a free spell.
Nice.
So he formed a little Ouroboros out of water and just dropped it and held it around vampires and let nature take its course.
Oh my god.
That's great.
So he's doing stuff. He's not burning any spell slots, and he's killing vampires like it's going out of style.
Sweet. I love that.
So yeah.
I also love that how every once in a while there's a word that confirms that you're Canadian for me.
I've heard a few of those.
Yeah, there's an against or an about, and I'm like, oh yeah.
A bean.
Yeah, bean. Yeah. Love it. Anything else you want to kind of point people to as we kind of wrap this up? We talked about POC Gamer. Is that .com is where that blog is?
Yes, it is. POCgamer.com. The only thing I'd say is just if you're playing D&D, have fun with it. Like break out of the mold. Like don't let yourself get necessarily confined by how things are traditionally, because editions change and concepts change with editions, and so like don't be afraid to try things. Let the players have fun. Worst case scenario, they die. Got to erase the name off the sheet, write a new one in, and start over again.
That's good life advice in general, but also very good D&D advice. I love that. Yeah, that is the thing to do. You want to, and that's why it's good for kids. It's good for people of all ages because you can,
life lessons.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, congratulations again on your impending fatherhood.
Oh,
Thank you.
So what's the due date?
January.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ooh, you're in the home stretch.
Coming up.
It's true.
That's going to be exciting.
Now you're going to have 1 hour a day to yourself.
That's enough.
Ish. If you combine the 15 minutes that the newborn will be sleeping into one hole. Oh, that's always so tough. But yeah, you're totally right. Your gaming time or thinking about gaming time will be reduced for probably about 3 to 5 years.
Or you'll have so much new fodder to write about. You'll be so inspired. It'll just flow out of you.
That is entirely possible as well.
And then you'll start a party of your own of adventurers. That's
future gamers.
Where hopefully Shelly and I are at that point now, where our kids are.
We are
getting to that age where I'm like, all right,
nice.
Recruit them in.
Yep.
Cool, man. It was really good talking to you.
Yeah,
are you on Twitter or anything like that? You want to poke people that way, or?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. It's at POC Gamer on Twitter, and if you just type in POC Gamer, search, the page will come up on Facebook. And thanks very much for having me out here. It's been great talking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Thanks a lot, man. We'll let you get back to your duties.
So back to my regular job.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Well,
talk to you soon.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.
We need to have him on again.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially after he has his child, so that we can be like...
No, before, or we're never going to talk to him again.
It'll be the 1 hour that he can get away, right? Like, here, I know you probably want to sleep in this hour, but...
Nope. Talk to us instead.
Let's talk about gaming and how...
He has a lot of good advice. He's very prolific.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about this campaign.
I
want to
do
hear
too.
more about his travels.
I kept trying to pull out more. I'm like, I want
It's
more
like,
details because there's so
stealing
much
my
in there.
ideas,
Yeah,
Tito.
that's right. That's super exciting. A lot of fun stuff.
Yep. Maybe he should live stream.
I know. I was thinking about that too. I don't know how that works with active duty though. If you could, it might be. I don't know. Who knows? But
I don't know.
Anyway. I'll be asking him to see if he's going to get it on his thing too, because that sounds really cool. So yeah, that's great. I can't wait for more little gamers to be
yes, he's doing the
proliferated out in the world.
A good service.
So let's wrap this up. What do you have going on for you, Shelly, that you want to talk about on the Twitters as we are leaving?
Just have to wait and see.
Yeah. But where can people follow you and what Avalon Hill might be coming doing?
Avalon Hill. Oh, yeah. You'll want to follow Avalon Hill 2, the number 2.
Boogaloo.
On Twitter, and I'm at Shelly Moo.
Yes.
Yes.
Do a lot of people ask you about how annoying I am on Twitter?
Yes. They say, why, how? Does he really take his shirt off in the middle of the office?
And you're like, yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
It's terrible.
He gets a new box of T-shirts, and he just starts, God, it's a good thing it wasn't pants or something.
Oh, man.
Forget it.
Next time, I'm going to order some pants. That's it. Like, Shelly, just turn around.
Just don't look at me right now.
Yeah, right. I'll go into the conference room. You can follow me. I'm at Greg Tito. I'm also just joined Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Greg_Tito there. I couldn't find...
What are you doing on Instagram? Like, what are kids these days doing with it?
I think, because I post so many pictures on Twitter, it just kind of made sense to also have an Instagram-ish presence.
I have Instagram, but I never really use it, and I don't even really look at it. But I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Well, we've heard that a lot of the folks that we work with, like Force Gray, for example.
Yeah.
Force Gray is going to be doing their episodes tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Monday. A lot of those folks are only on Instagram. They don't do Twitter or Facebook really at all. Facebook. So yeah, that was part of it, and it's a whole different networking type.
Well, you got to be where the kids are.
And I like images. I like taking photos.
Well, when I go on Instagram, I like it. I like looking at everything.
Yeah, so I'm going to be taking lots of pictures of you and posting them.
You can put me on your Instagram?
All over the place. It's just going to be nonstop.
Okay. Seems weird. Doesn't that seem weird?
Well, I mean, with your permission.
It doesn't
of
seem
course.
weird.
Well, now with our new offices, we can just be like, it's like between there's like little little cutouts in our cubicles.
I'm a little worried about what Trevor's going to think about our shared bookshelf. Like, is he going to be like, you took up too much room? We're sharing.
This is Instagram worthy pictures. People don't know what we're talking about. We got to take pictures of our shelves and have like our shelf space. Wars on there.
I guess there's
Make an Avalon Hill Instagram. Here. There you go. That's all you need to do. Make it part of the things that Avalon Hill does. Taking pictures of board games and whatnots.
Okay.
She's like, no, I don't have time for that. But there are lots of other amazing things that we do have time for coming up on twitch.tv/DND. Those of you listening in podcast form, why aren't you watching us live if you can? It is a lot of fun. You get to see our stupid faces.
And new t-shirts.
And new t-shirts, exactly. There's tons of fun new shows and ongoing shows on Twitch, including Maze Arcana has a new one called Sirens of the Realms, which is an all-girl bard band, 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, which is super fun. Also, there's Encounter Roleplay Learn to Play on Saturdays, I believe at 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's really interesting. If you're interested in trying to figure out how to be a Dungeon Master, you can watch this show, and then Will Jones will stop the action, go in his little cone of silence so his players can't hear, and talk to you about what the decisions that he made and why he did what he did. It's a good way to like kind of learn by play, as the name of the show says.
It's very cool.
Go check that out. There's also, it's all on our YouTube page. A lot of our archives are there, which is, I don't know, just search for Dungeons and Dragons on YouTube. You should find it. You know how to use a search bar, I'm pretty sure, at this point. If you don't, then this is a different podcast that you might need to download. It's called Search Bar Prowess that I'm pitching. I'm pitching that right now. Do you think we should do it? I think we should do it.
Do you want to have your own Twitch show?
Exactly. Yeah. If you guys want to find out about Tomb of Annihilation, the Dungeon Masters Guild, what's going on with the Forest Grey live show, Extra Life, what's happening here on the Twitch page, go to DungeonsandDragons.com. That's our website with all the information contained therein. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, Wizards_DND. We do lots of updates there, lots of news and happenings going around town. Sound like a plan?
Yes.
All right. You want to close this mother out?
No.
Wait, I know I had a better call phrase. I was supposed to say, roll with advantage. Damn it. No, that wasn't it. Was that it? Play D&D with all the advantage that you need.
No, that's too long.
No, see, that lost its flair.
Roll.
It's like a Optimus Prime says, wait, no, I can't. Roll out.
Roll
and advantage. All right, no, I think we're just done. Let's just make the bings and the bongs happen, Ryan. All right, Twitch folks. I still got to get better at that. We're going to be talking to Erica Fermina from Girls Guts Glory in just a few minutes. We're going to take a short little break and then call her up. I think it should be fun.
I think so.
Those of you who are subscribed, you won't be seeing any ads roll right now, but those of you who are not subscribers will be seeing ads. So they're fun ads, let's say.
Yeah.
They're really good ads. But if you would rather just watch us play around on our little break here with our little webcam, you can subscribe. It's $4.99 a month. You get fun emotes, badges for subscribing months in advance, as well as not having to watch those crazy ads. So thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed already. I see there was someone who did way earlier, and now I'm scrolling way too far to see it because I wanted to thank them, and I can't find it anymore. It's gone. It's gone forever.
Hopefully Pelham thanked him for you.
Pelham is a good person, and I'm sure he did. But thank you, person who did that. I think you're a good person. All right, so yeah, well, let's take our quick little break here. Ads will roll, and then we'll be back, and we'll call up Erica Fermina.
Okay.
Bye.